Greetings sailors and welcome back to World of Warships and a bit more live play. This time of a ship that was kind of requested in one of the comments on a previous video. Basically someone asked if I could look at one of the newer high-tier Soviet cruisers, and I don't know that I've really covered them that much, so I thought, sure, okay. The one I'm going to go with is the Riga, which I realised I don't even have fully upgraded. I don't have the maximum possible range on it at the moment, although it doesn't matter that much in that, because it's a tier 9, you can have the gunfire control mod too, so we still have a very respectable 19 kilometres of range overall. I'll also quickly show the captain skills I have. It's a 19-point captain. I went with outnumbered as the second 4-point skill, just because it's quite a useful one for cruisers overall, and especially at the high tier cruisers when your main battery range becomes, some of them anyway, becomes fairly long. That is going to be particularly useful towards the end of matches when there's fewer allies left available, especially if you're outnumbered. Having the extra bit of speed and having the extra bit of accuracy on your guns is certainly going to be welcome. So let's give it a go. Hopefully it's a top tier game, but probably it'll be tier 10s. And there may or may not be submarines, which are continuing to not be particularly fun to play against. I have to say, overall, their impact hasn't been that huge necessarily, but in some games it absolutely is an outsized impact just based on who's playing it. And I suppose that's sort of true for any ship class. You know, who's playing it does matter a lot, but a well-played sub is, I think, basically harder to counter than almost any other class in terms of the possibility of countering it even. The only thing that comes close is some of the really stealthy destroyers, and if someone's being particularly cautious, and if they've lucked out with there not being any radars or carriers or something like that, then yeah, it is possible, and it's unusual but possible, to manage to go unspotted for an entire game. Anyway, we have actually managed to get top tier, although this is not my favourite map. And I'm not entirely sure which side to go on. We've started in the middle. I think we'll head over on this flank. Now, I will say, I've played enough games to get to tier 10, although I think I've played the Moskva, like I ground out the Moskva on my NA account when that was still the tier 10 before the line split. So yeah, it's been a while since I have actively been grinding through the line, and then once the line split was announced, I basically blew a bunch of free XP so I could have the Moskva as the coal ship, I suppose, as it is technically now, on my EU account as well. So I didn't really go back and revisit the line terribly much. I have played this a bit, but not much. I think I played it enough to get the hull, or maybe I even just free XP'd the hull and left the range alone. I don't know. I'd have to actually go and check my stats to see exactly how many games I've played in the Riga, but I've a feeling it's not many. Anyway, I think trying to just sit and bow in like the Petro would probably end up being a mistake, so yeah, let's see what we can do. I do remember enough to know that your AP shells are preferable to use over the high explosive. They tend to give the more solid and reliable results, but that doesn't mean you should never use HE, of course. Let's see if we can connect some shots. I don't know who's aiming at me, but let's take a little bit of corrective manoeuvring as well, just in case. And we know one of them is the Hipper for sure. Could be Colorado, could be the Izumo. Whoever it was, they're not aiming anymore, so that's fine. What's that there? An oodle oil. Let's actually switch to HE. Just while we're rounding this island. Udaloy is within radar range. And as you saw, I've got the radar mod, so I've got slightly longer duration, but it's still... It's basically kind of like enough for a reload. It's actually backed off out of the cap at this point anyway. Oh, well, hopefully that makes me a bit more cautious overall. There's the Sejong, we'll have to keep an eye out for that. It was being awfully aggressive. Well, smoke's actually blocking line of sight, you know, for that shot anyway. I suspect if I shoot now it won't be, but yeah, that was kind of useful. Let's go back to AP. Oh, the Kachimata finally? Having gone back to AP, now the most attractive or the most high priority target is actually a destroyer, but oh well. Still did some overpens worth of damage, so that ain't terrible. Oh, this Hipper is being very aggressive. Let's get my turrets turned the other way. Right, oh, they've lost to Baltimore already. We have a Mogador that thought they were a Yolo Emilio. I wasn't paying attention to that. Yolo Emilio, but without the smoke. Gosh, this Hipper really is going all in. Right, not the fastest turret traverse in the world. That's a... Yeah, that's definitely a kill secure. Right. It's not looking too bad so far, although, yeah, it's a bit early to call it one way or the other. We are only 5 minutes in. Now, Udaloy is still very much at play on this flank, and there's a Sejong over there as well. Let's see what we can get some shots at. Spotted, so that's possibly either the Udaloy or the Gajimada. It looks like the Gajimada was going this way, so maybe it's more likely to be the Udaloy. Just the Udaloy. Oh, I was debating there whether to use a radar or not, but they decided to just open fire anyway and try and do some Udaloy things. Although, that's a smoke Udaloy rather than a heal Udaloy. Which I don't think that's the correct way to play either of those, but okay. Maybe now AP. Who's targeting me? Right, if I can get unspotted, Sejong has smoked up, but you know, I have a radar. One thing I do miss versus the Donskoy is torpedoes. It would be awfully nice to have the torpedoes that the Donskoy gets. Right, spotted by the Gajimada. Don't particularly want to be super broadside to the Sejong. So we pinged that a little early. Nice, that was a good hit. Now, flat arcs actually worked against me there. Oh well. But yeah, he's put himself in a... Can just blind shot that. I mean, if this was a push alone, it would be an awfully risky one, but it's not. Right, somebody else has got him, the Ruprecht, that's fine. Right. Downside is the Izumo is now a little uncomfortably close for doing any kind of turns, but if I can use the island and maybe try and help take out this. Let's actually stick with the AP. The AP would do it if we hit. That's the thing that's never mind. Thing that's spotting me. So yeah. Not bad so far. Not a lot of damage though. This is a beautifully broadside Izimo. I just don't have the gun arcs to take advantage of it right now. Can I hit the Colorado at least? Yes, there we go. I don't quite understand this Izimo strategy, but it's not a good strategy, I'll tell you that much for free. That's not some optimal Izimoing right there. I don't think we're going to get the benefit of outnumbered in this match somehow. We've progressed to a stage where I can say, yeah, I think possibly we're going to win this one. Your top tier battleship is going to be angling or not angling like that, then yeah. I wonder if I should try some HE just to get a fire going, then go back to AP. He's kind of angled right now, so it's superstructure hits that are the ones that are doing damage. So these are definitely doing less damage overall, but yeah. All that ticking damage. He might actually die before that point. Although our Ruprecht ain't looking too healthy either. Let's go back to AP. Certainly want that for the laser. Certainly been playing smarter than a lot of his higher tier teammates, which I can kind of empathise with being in that position. It's an all too frequent occurrence where your bottom tier and your top tier ships are just absolutely not pulling their weight. There's rather a limited amount you can do about it. What's left on this side is Pommern and Felix Schultz. Maybe I should be on HE here, I don't know. At this angle I don't quite know. This is the most effective ammo. I mean, he's turning and swinging away, which is what I'd be doing, but that does have the effect of slowing you down. He's also running out of map. Yeah, this has not exactly been a high damage game. I think I've helped a bit, but yeah, that was just a general push on this flank, coupled with the weakness of the enemy team. Man, you can tell I'm not familiar with these guns. I'm not really having a lot of joy. He's slowed down a bit on purpose, I think, though. No, we lost. Won rather on points. So yeah, that wasn't an amazing game by any stretch of the imagination, but enough for halfway up the team. So let's do another one. And right into a game. I'm glad everyone's enjoying the Ultimate Admirals series, by the way. That seems to be doing rather better than most non-Warships games that I cover on the channel, but I suppose there is more overlap between that and my Warships audience, as it were. I'm also pondering the possibility of just switching over to the beta branch, which does seem to have more stuff going on, more useful and nice things going on with it, but at the same time, if it's being updated more frequently, that might end up breaking save games. I don't know. I'm not sure how backwards compatible it is in that regard. I mean, the other game I've covered in the past that has also been quite applicable, if I can put it that way, to my Warships content has been U-Boat. I can't remember if that's had a full release yet. I think they're working towards a full release. But anyway, yeah, that had a habit of breaking save files between releases. And of course, that tends to put a damper on doing any kind of extended campaign stuff. But that's always the, well, was it always the issue with games, but it's frequently an issue with early access games or just released games. Occasionally with more mature games as well. I mean, CK2 underwent several periods where, because of changes to the map or changes to economic stuff or behind the scenes stuff, it ended up making previous files incompatible, which is one of the reasons why I had to do so much back and forth over the years with my PointyHairedJedi series. Right, this time there's both a carrier and submarines, so this is going to be less fun for all involved. It's also a tier 10 game as well. Right, I would like to make a turn here, but I really don't want to take a broadside shot across this island. Maybe I should just kind of stay where I am and radar this destroyer. Oh, bugger off, Pobeda. Nobody likes you. It's a Soviet carrier as well, so, you know, you might shoot down a plane or two, but it's not going to... okay. Significantly impact things. Now, downside of that radar is, yeah, I've done some damage and got some, whatever, decap flags, but they were just able to sit there and smoke. However, I guess that gave their position away. Now Zeton's going in and using their hydro, so that will hopefully drive the Z46 out. Are you just really going to focus on me over and over again, Pobeda? Oh, joy. Joyful joy. It does seem like it. Or are you going for the cap instead? No, yes, no, no, yes, definitely coming my way. Excellent. Of course, subs, you get this exact same experience, only even more so. When a sub just decides to keep pinging you over and over again, and there's really nothing you can do about it. It is absolutely the antithesis of fun and enjoyment. We were having a discussion about the stun bombs on the podcast yesterday, which fortunately Wargaming announced that yes, after only a week of testing, they've concluded that it will in fact be a terrible idea for the game. It's like, okay, no shit, Sherlock. It's one of those ideas where, yeah, it is very obviously terrible. I mean, sometimes you get stuff like... I mean, I still remember when Radio Location was announced and everyone was like, oh, it's the death of the game. And some people, myself included, were like, well, actually, no, it doesn't sound that bad. Yeah, some people I think just have a knee-jerk reaction regardless, but sometimes the knee-jerk reaction actually is, you know... it's not because it's a knee-jerk reaction, it's the actual thing itself that there is an issue with. In this case, the stun bombs, absolutely there's an issue with that. Stun mechanics in games, especially PvP games, are just never popular. Ever, ever. And there's so many examples of this in PvP games. So, yeah. I mean, okay, sure, wargaming, considering and trying new things, is to be lauded. But some ideas are just not worth the time of even having had the idea, if that made any sense. Not really. Let's see if we can do some work on this Kansas. Give a bit of backup to the Odin. Hopefully the Yamato doesn't decide to go for me. That would be bad. Oh, actually, I'm going to have shots. Oh, hello, Smolensk. It's another fun and engaging ship. Nice, 6k hit. I think our Odin is just... yeah, they just seem to be YOLOing straight face first into... yeah, they're not gonna last. They're not gonna last. So we can get a fire going on this Kansas. Okay, well, time to abandon flank. Because there's no point rushing in suicidally after someone that's doing that kind of maneuver. Okay, that was not terrible. If this Kagero is sensible, they'll pull back as well. Because you better believe the carrier is going to come back and spot. Yeah, there's the planes. Let's just GTFR. I think their sub is dead at least. Yeah, they died in the middle. And, Izumo and Borodino rammed each other. Oh, okay. They played a game of chicken and neither blinked, I suppose. Yeah. There goes the Kagero. That was predictable. I mean, they probably would have still been spotted, but if they were much further back here, nearer to me, A, I could have given them some AA coverage, and B, they would have had more room to maneuver with. Do I open fire? Well, the answer is yes, because I just got spotted by somebody. Oh, Yamato! Plus now. Is the Kansas dead? Yes, Kansas is dead at least, so that's not a big set of guns out of play, but still a Smolensk! Because that's fun. Right, you don't seem to want to expose yourself by firing at me from the open. Carrier, you probably want to maybe start moving away a little bit. That's a good question. Who's spotting me? Would it be the Cossack? Could they have come all the way around up here? We're like not going through the middle. Somebody's spotting. Oh, it might just be the Litterivo, I suppose. The obvious answer. I think outnumbered only kicks in when it's spotted enemies, doesn't it? So even though, yes, I am outnumbered at the moment, if there's only one spotted enemy within that radius. Oh, actually, with the carrier and the, like, if those are the, well, no, the Smolensk should be there as well, so maybe it's just equal at the moment. I don't know, is that going to be... Oh, surely Smolensk smoke. would really like to get a fire going. Oh, we weren't tagged onto that Yamato. I'd really like to get a fire going on that Yamato. I don't want to abandon this flank completely because we could actually get some sort of crossfire here while my allies are all pushing for the middle a bit. I mean, overall, this is not a bad situation. This is not a bad position. Oh, yes, AP shells. Zwolfel, aka Dave. I wonder if that's a Jingles viewer. Yes. Right, somebody got a fire in the Yamato. It wasn't me, but anyway, let's just stick the AP. Gotta remember, Smolensk does have torpedoes. Damage-wise, this is a bit better, but still. 60k ain't exactly the most brilliant result for a Tier 9 cruiser. I've not had any good cruiser broadsides to shoot at, especially. So we've had some, I mean, like 48 pens versus 50 pens. We're certainly doing better than, yeah, but here we go. No, we don't want our Hydra for sure. You've run aground, matey. I don't think you meant to do that. Right, are we just going to get over pens, or can we actually get some... Yes! Oh, that's good. That feels... Oh, I feel all... might need a moment. Oh, no citadels that time. That time was literally all over pens. Yeah, you seem to have found all of the islands there. Come on, reload. The model freaked out a little bit there, but still, yeah. Right. Is it just the Yamato? It's the La Terrible as well. No Smolensk torps. Maybe he was hoping that he would be able to get me closer. Right, there's La Terrible torps. Oh! Yeah, they still have a Cossacks round as well. I was considering going face first and trying to get citadel pens on this Yamato. I don't know if that's the wisest idea. That might be a bit too bold considering the state of... Yeah, La Terrible's actually maybe going to get out. I don't know if I can afford not to. Please don't be facing your turrets this way. Right, submarine, plus put all the torpedoes in from the other side. Nice, 7k. Come on, reload! Come on, come on, come on, come on! Some damage, still the Cossack. Hydro's down, he's not looking good. Again, those flat shell arcs actually working against me. Oh me, oh my. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. I was about to burn out anyway, right. Cossack. Cossack, where are you? Oh, cripes. I don't like it. I don't like it. Seven Graces, he's only got the 4 torps, but of course he can single launch them. My hope is he launches them right now, and then that way I can dodge. I just need to hold until radar comes in. Actually, no, wait till I'm spotted. He's trying to bait me into firing, but I'm about to have my radar. Man, this is close actually, although, yeah, it is just these 2 destroyers left. He doesn't have the angle for a drop. I don't believe. Don't think the torp angles on Cossack are that good. Nice. There's La Terrible. Right, okay, this has actually turned out to be quite an interesting end to this game. 1 radar left. 2 hydro. So yeah, the first game was thoroughly mediocre. This one's turned out to be much more interesting. We don't have to worry too much about the caps. Needs to assume he's going for A. Got the Hindenburg still fairly healthy. I'm still at half my health and a heal. You gonna reset me? You gonna reset me? You gonna give yourself away? Yes. And there's torpedoes. Just ran out of range. He released those rather early. I mean, this is getting him extra XP, but I mean, me knowing his position ultimately is fine. You've got chutzpah, Le Terrible, I'll give you that. Everyone that actually knows any amount of Yiddish is probably cringing fairly hard right now. Yeah, this guy's just playing for some extra points. It's impossible for this Le Terrible to win, so I've got to give him credit for that. Well, I mean, this is almost an anticlimactic end to the game of playing against Le Terrible that's just, yeah, but now there's multiple people firing at him. This isn't going to last too much longer. I'll give him a compliment, frankly, just for, like, actually not just running away and hiding in a corner as I'm sure some players would have done. Confederate, nice. Well, there we go. Victory. So yeah, they'd have got some bonus XP out of that in terms of the defense flags, but they can't really fault them for trying. Oh, there's actually somebody else got the kill. I think it must have been the Hindenburg. So yeah, that 2,500 base XP, that actually ended up being a pretty good game. Especially compared to that first game. You never know when you're recording live. Sometimes you actually end up with fairly good, entertaining games. And other times it's just kind of completely average. Man, getting to get that Smolensk though, oh, that was satisfying. That was satisfying, definitely not gonna lie. Anyway, so that is it for this video. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and if you have, you can do all the usual things down underneath it, and of course, as always, stay tuned for more.